Going back up to the top now, we can explore different tabs that I have. If I were using this in my everyday classroom, I might have uh, tabs for different topics that we would be covering. But in this case, the students had to do a web quest and then complete a photo and video journal as well as a community service project proposal. So I'm going to click on the web quest here, and I have the different regions and breakdowns uh, of the trip itself. We uh, visit each of these regions and stay in the area for 2 days at a time. Down at the bottom here, I have additional resources just sort of to help them out. So here I'm going to click on Costa Rica, know before you go. And again, this is just a little bit further detail about the trip itself. I have a few quotes that I input right there. And then there's also this interactive map so they get an idea of where Costa Rica is. On the actual web page, they can zoom in and take a look at it um, and move around. Down here, I have another discussion forum and some topic questions. Down here, we're talking about ecotourism and how that impacts the environment, as well as a few different videos for them to watch. And then to go out with that, they have join the discussion, share your ideas on ecotourism and sustainability, thread in the news forum. So then what I've done is gone through and responded and viewed their different responses, different thoughts about the industry itself and the discussion question. And you'll see the same theme on all the web pages. The next one I can go to is, I'm going to go to Monte Verde because that was one of the more interesting places that we visited. Again, some pictures and a quote. And down here I've inserted an image talking about the continental divide. Monte Verde is an high altitude cloud forest and is a great place to look at the biodiversity of Costa Rica, as well as a very different climate than what we see on the Pacific coast, where it's much warmer and more humid. One important thing that they talk about in Monte Verde is reforestation and fixing the environment once it has been disrupted, as well as creating biological corridors. And so I have some discussion questions about basically compare different articles, compare different videos, and discuss how you would have done things different, or how you would improve on the process, or how this would apply at home. On this next tab, we have the photo and video journal. And there's a list of different items that I wanted them to find while on the trip. I also inserted web links so that they can go and view definitions and examples of, for example, Batesian mimicry, mechanical defenses, and so on and so forth. As we were on a trip, I did discuss how they could edit it and change these. Also, like with the video journal, there are different prompts that they had to discuss. We did allow them to work together in groups and discuss and do some of these together, and also combine some of the prompts, because sometimes they might be able to talk about sustainability and biodiversity at the same time in the same prompt, and they found that they were having a little bit of overlap, and so said it was okay to go ahead and cover 2 to 3 topics in one journal, as well as they were to make a daily journal for each of their days while they were there. And finally, their community service project proposal. They had to come up with something that they would do to impact the community, something that they would do to change the community they live in. It only has to be a proposal at this point. That being said, while we were on a trip, we did have one student take up a collection for the homeless and donated a backpack full of clothing that people weren't going to bring back to the United States, or a bunch of the food and items that we had left over from the trip. There were a lot of packaged and canned goods that some people went out and purchased, and she went with a few of us down and donated the items. So that was quite an interesting and great moment where we actually had somebody impact some other individuals from another country.